Mic check. One, two. Mic check. One, two. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another accountability live stream. Today is Monday, February 16th. Although I know that it is probably the 15th for many of you out west, although it is the 16th here in Manila. So welcome, everyone. Welcome to another live stream. This is an opportunity for all of you to share your accountability, to share where you're at on your fasting and your weight loss journey. I'm going to take the time to spend the next hour or so to share where I'm at. But it doesn't mean that you can't be accountable and show up for yourself as well. So, with that being said, I appreciate everyone being here today. Hopefully, you had a great weekend. Maybe one of the questions that I have for many of you is, are you here right now waiting to start on Monday? Are you here right now telling yourself, oh, I'm so glad Jerome is on because on Monday, I'm going to start my journey. On Monday, I'm going to start fasting. On Monday, I'm going to start eating better. When in reality, the question you should be asking yourself is, why are you waiting until Monday? Why are you waiting for a specific day to start? Oh, but Jerome, I had plans this weekend. So what? That doesn't mean that you can't take care of yourself in the meantime. It doesn't mean that you cannot do things for yourself to help you on your journey. So if you see me looking this way, it's because I am also live on Instagram, which is a first for me today. I see people chatting in Instagram as well. I'm not going to be able to pull those comments up there, but it's nice to see many of you on Instagram who are here as well. So before I begin, let me go ahead and say hi to people in the chat, to Andre, to Kevin, to Eric, to Lori, Aisha, Soaring Soul, Andre, Kevin. Did I say Kevin already? Hi, Judy. Hi, Select. To many people who are in here as well in Instagram. I see many of you on here. Lunar, Bear, Wiley, Jalen, Paul, Dave. I'm not going to say hi to everyone in here, but many of you are in here. So hello, nice to see you all. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to get started. Like I said, this is an opportunity for me to share my accountability. Why do I share my accountability? Why is accountability important for me? Because I understand that if I walk away from this, if I decide to just let the weekend pass by and not be accountable, if I decide that I'm just going to eat whatever now, not worry about it, pretend it never happened because I'm going to start tomorrow, I understand that's where the issues start. That's where the spiraling starts, because I have this all or nothing mentality where I think I have to do everything this day. So that means everything from the day before and last week, who cares? When in reality, you should be working on your fasting. You should be working on the way you eat. You should be working on your walking, your cardio, your strength training, your sleep, all of it. All of it makes sense to start today instead of waiting for tomorrow. Remember, the scale, your health, all of these things that you should be aware of, your health isn't waiting for you. Your health isn't waiting for Monday. Your health is ready to go now. So remember to take all of those things into account when you continue and you work on your journey. So I don't have anything in particular I want to talk about today. If any of you have questions, I will try to answer it as we go through. If you see me looking both ways, it's because I have never streamed on Instagram before, so I'm trying to do two things at once here. I'm sure I'll get the hang of it in the future, but please feel free to ask and I will answer what I can in the meantime. But we will get into the stats. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to share my screen here and we'll get into the important parts of my journey and how imperfect consistency has not only helped me lose 80 pounds in the last, well, how it initially let me lose 80 pounds in the first 5 months or less than 5 months, but how it's continued to keep the weight off since. I have now kept the weight off for over 2 years at this point. Sarah on Instagram asks, Sarah from California, how can I start day one? Sarah, it's really simple. If you want to start on day one, as I'm talking to you right now on day 834, all you have to do is just start. That's it. It's as simple as that. It doesn't mean that you have to have this straight up plan of fasting for 7 days and eating the healthiest. I like to tell people all that matters is you start. If you have a fasting timer, you hit the start button on that. Time yourself. See how long you can go fasting wise without eating. And when it's time to break, you break. You break, you refeed, you hit your timer, you go again. It's as simple as that. It doesn't mean that it has to be a 3 day fast right away. It doesn't mean that it has to be a 1 week fast right away. It just means you have to practice imperfect consistency. One of the things that I like to say is your fasting doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be consistent. Your eating doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be consistent. As I talk about doing this for 834 days, it has been a lot of imperfect days. There have been a good number of good days and also a handful of bad days. But what matters is I continue to show up. I don't say, well, you know what? Today it's just not happening. So let me just eat whatever I want, not worry about a timer, not worry about fasting at all, not worry about the way I'm eating, and then just give everything up and say, I'm just going to wait till Monday. I'm just going to wait till next week. I'm just going to wait till after my birthday. It's those things that really cause a bigger spiral, a deeper hole that you dig for many of you. Unique asks, did you relapse on your journey? In the last 834 days, I haven't. In the past, I have. And when people ask me, why did you gain the weight back before? So I don't know, Unique, if you're asking if I've relapsed on my journey because I haven't posted as often on Instagram. If you watch me on YouTube under the same name at Finally Fasting, I have not relapsed in that way. I have not gained the weight back. I have continued to do what I'm doing. I just haven't posted on Instagram as much because I'm a lot more active on YouTube. I live stream on YouTube. But now that I figured out how to live stream on Instagram, you'll see a lot of these in the future. So as I'm saying all of this to you right now, today is day 834 of my journey. Today is Monday, February 16th here in the Philippines. I know it's the 15th for many people out west, but I am 834 days into what I'm doing. Does it mean that every single day has been perfect? No. Does it mean that I have eaten perfectly for the last 834 days? No. But am I still at around my goal weight? Yes. Do I still have a ways to go? Of course. There's still a lot that I have to continue doing to help myself. But every day is a day of growth. Every day is a day of progress. And that's important to me because I know that if I decide that I'm just going to take a weekend of not being mindful, that a weekend of not being mindful can turn into a week, can turn into a few weeks out. A lot of this takes time. A lot of this takes practice. So when people say, Jerome, I can't fast for a long time, you have to take the time to practice into it. If you can't fast for a long time, what are you doing in terms of the way you eat, the way you exercise? This is common sense. There isn't a magic formula to do this. All that it takes is effort on a regular basis. So let's go ahead. We will break into the stats for the month of February. My goals are very simple. What I put here, let me switch screens up here. My goals for the month of February are very simple. It's to track my weight daily. Why? To be accountable, to aim for a downward trend. It's to track all of my fasts, regardless if it's a 16-hour fast or a 60-hour fast. The goal is to track all of my fasts. Why? Because even the shorter fasts still matter. Because it's being mindful, it's being aware of what you're doing. It's to also track all of my refeeds, to know how long I'm actually eating for. Am I eating for 2 hours on this refeed? Or am I eating for 14 hours and I'm just snacking throughout the day? It's one of the important things that I keep in mind. Tracking my calories, not having it an accurate track. I know that I can't track everything to a T. I know that if I go out to eat, I am not going to get the exact amount of calories that I am actually ingesting, right? But it's good to be aware. It's good to still be mindful. It's to track my protein, aim for a 5% goal of my total calories. So if I'm eating 1,000 calories, the goal is to just eat 5%, or 5% of those calories should be coming from protein. It's to track my steps, aiming for 12,000 steps a day. Does it mean that every day I have to get at least 12,000? No. What it means is I just practice for that. I practice imperfect consistency and see if I can average out to around 12,000 a day. It's to perform strength training after my refeeds. It's to track my sleep and get an average of over 7 hours a night. Now, here's the thing. Those are my goals for February. Does it mean that I am going to accomplish every single goal? No, it doesn't. In fact, I know for a fact that I am not going to aim, or I am not going to achieve every single one of those goals. But does it mean that I give up? Does it mean that, well, everything's over? Who cares? Let's just start over next week? No. What it means is you take every single facet of your journey, whether it's your fasting or your eating or your exercise or your sleep or keeping the mental part strong, and you keep going. A lot of people keep forgetting that one of the most important things on your journey isn't just how long you fast for, but it is also making sure psychologically, mentally, you're in the game, that you give yourself grace, that if you have a bad day, it doesn't mean that your day is over. That if you eat bad on a Friday night, it doesn't mean that the weekend is over, that you can't put some practice into taking care of yourself throughout the weekend. The practice of imperfect consistency is one of the keys to my success. Imperfect consistency, accountability, complete transparency is important, because I can no longer hide. I will no longer hide from what I'm doing. And when I talk about that, I mean, I'm not going to overeat one day and then pretend it didn't happen. I'm not going to fast for, I don't know, let's say 10 hours and pretend that, who cares? Instead, it's like, okay, I didn't fast as long. I better make sure that I keep the other things in check. And even if I'm on vacation, and even if I know I'm not going to be fasting the longest, I'm not going to be eating the best, I can still make good choices where I can. So let's go ahead. We will break right into these nerd stats here. So as you can see, and actually it looks like this got cut off because it looks like I didn't format my sheet right, but that's okay. These are my weights over the last 2+ weeks. I started off at 149.2, and that weight pushes itself up and down throughout the days. It isn't going to be perfect. I am not at my goal weight. I would love to probably be somewhere in the 130s, but I will also take being in the 140s. This morning, I weighed in at 146.2 after a very heavy refeed, but because I am tracking, because I am getting my steps in, the weight isn't just pushing itself up like it used to. I'm not putting on 20 pounds after 5 days of eating bad. In fact, a lot of this is just the practice of doing something consistent on a regular basis. My fasted weights for the month of February, or my weights after fasting. This sheet here, this screen here shows you what I weigh in after I complete a fast. So on the 2nd of February, I was 144.8 after a 41-hour fast, 146.2 after a 37-hour fast, 143 even after a 59-hour fast. And you'll notice if you look at these fasts, they're all over the place, right? It isn't a consistent number. I am not aiming for anything crazy. I am no longer doing 90+ hour fasts, even though if I wanted to, I could, but I am trying to practice shorter fasts because I am trying to practice eating better. So instead of eating 5, 6, 7,000 calories every single refeed, I am learning to eat less and fast less. That gives me the opportunity to eat more, but that also means I have to be very careful on how much I eat because I'm not fasting as long as I initially did. My last Fasted weight was on the 14th when I weighed in at 144. So again, I am pretty much steady for the entire month of February. Do I want to continue to lose more weight or lose excess body fat? Of course I do. But I also told myself, you don't have to do anything drastic. It doesn't have to be anything dramatic. All it takes right now is just putting work in and day out. In terms of how long I'm fasting for, you'll see here. My goal for the month of February was to just do 3 alternate day fasts a week. What do I mean by alternate day fasts? It just means pretty much like a 36-hour to like a 42-hour fast 3 times a week, meaning I eat every other day, I fast every other day. Eat Monday, fast Tuesday, eat Wednesday, fast Thursday, so on and so forth. So you'll see here throughout the month of February, for the first half of the month, you'll see 40-hour fasts, you'll see 59, 66, and then back to 40. My average fasting time for the month of February right now is 47 hours and 8 minutes. So I've been fasting on average for the month for about 2 days on average. As far as my refeeds, these are also all over the place. My refeeds, meaning how long I typically eat for, is somewhere around, in the past, would be somewhere around 3 to 5 hours, 4 to 6 hours. Currently, right now, this is a lot longer. You'll see my average refeed right now is over 9 hours. The shortest refeed I had was on the 10th of February at 2 hours and 47 minutes. Why does it matter how long you eat for? It doesn't. It just depends from person to person. All I'm saying is that for some of us, if you keep your refeed window open too long, for some of you who might say, hey, I'm going to break my fast at 10 a.m. and I'm going to eat until 11 p.m., that can be detrimental for many of us because we end up eating way too much throughout the day, or we snack too much throughout the day, which is why in the past for me, I would eat at the very tail end of the day after breaking a fast. So for example, let's say I was fasting 40 some hours. I would typically break at around 6 or 7 p.m. And then I would just keep my eating window open for around 3 hours, maybe 3.5, maybe 4 or 5, but keep it short then. So by the end of the night, I have eaten what I wanted. I am tired, I'm ready to go to bed, and it keeps the eating window short instead of snacking the entire day. It's just another tool that you can use to help yourself throughout your journey. My refeed weights, this is the weight that I end up after eating. This is where the weight will always push up. I can gain anywhere between 4 to 6 pounds, sometimes more, sometimes less, after eating 4, 5, 6,000 calories. If you see here, these are the weights I'm at after a refeed: 150.4 pounds after a 5,000 calorie refeed, or 149.6 pounds after another 5,000 calorie refeed. But if you look at my latest one on the 15th of February, which is yesterday, which is today for many of you still, but yesterday, after eating 8,400 calories on the 14th of February, I pushed up to 149.2. Yes, 8,400 calories is a lot. It's a lot more than I thought I was going to eat, but it is what it is. I'm not going to harp on it. I'm not going to be like, well, I'm not going to count these calories. I don't want to show up for these calories. I don't want to share how much I ate. This is just me saying, this is the reality of life. Not every day is going to be a perfect eating day. Not every day is going to be a perfect fasting routine. And if you see here, the calories I have been eating throughout the month of February have been insane. The calories are so high. It is something that I still have a hard time controlling. I honestly was hoping for a lot more of somewhere between 4 and 5,000 calories, but there are many that are over 5,000. There are many that are over 6,000. And then two of my last refeed, not of my last, but 2 refeeds, I've only eaten 6 times in the last 15 days. But the calories are so high, my last refeed being at 8,400 calories. So as I continue sharing these stats, you'll see here many fasting days. Anything that isn't highlighted are complete fasting days with 0 calories whatsoever. You will see, though, things highlighted in yellow or orange or red show how many calories I have been eating. Anything highlighted in red are just days I have eaten anything over 6,000 calories and have been way over where I wanted to be. If you see where on the 14th of February, I only ate 300 grams of protein, which might sound like a lot, which it is a lot. But when you eat 8,400 calories and you're eating 300 grams of protein, that's not even 5% of your calories coming from protein. That should have been higher on that day. My averages for the month of February is currently I am eating 6,600 calories per refeed. I'm 2,600 calories over. That number needs to push itself down. Protein wise, I'm fine. I average out right now over 20 grams based on how many calories I'm eating per refeed. My current calorie pace, again, a lot of nerdy stats here, but my current calorie pace puts me at a place to the way the current calorie pace works is this is kind of like a daily reminder of, hey, are you over calories? Are you under calories? Are you putting yourself at a deficit? Anything in green shows that I am at a caloric deficit according to how many calories I expend on a daily basis. Is this completely accurate? No, it isn't, but it is a guide. You will see though, for the second week of February, a lot of red showing up because my calories have been way more than it should be. 6,800 calories, 8,400 calories, pushing me way more than how many calories I'm expending. If you look at the 15th, which was yesterday, I am currently at a 5,000 calorie surplus. So I am about 1.5 pounds over where I would like to be. Now, are these calories completely accurate? No, they're not. These calories that I'm showing, when I estimate them, I will usually overestimate. I will overestimate my calories on purpose so that I do not underestimate my calories. I guess to make this a little simpler, I would rather overestimate than underestimate because I don't want to be like, oh, you know what? I only ate 2,000 calories. I still have 2,000 calories I can eat. No, if I do that, that's where the issue starts because then I have this false notion in my head that I didn't eat as much as I thought. How many of you do that? How many of you put yourself in a situation where you tell yourself, yeah, I think I only ate this many calories when in fact you were probably underestimating. So it's one of the reasons I overestimate. Hopefully I do that as well so that I can continue to lose excess body fat. So I will overestimate my calories. I will underestimate my protein. And I do that on purpose. So I prioritize my protein and I keep my calories in check. You'll see here in terms of calories in, calories out. Yeah, I am over my calorie intake for the first 15 days. I am at a 5,000 calorie surplus, which puts me at around a pound and a half of additional fat. Now, I know this number probably isn't true. It probably isn't this high, but I can almost be willing to bet I am in a current surplus for the month. How am I going to get out of that surplus for this month? It's by fasting for longer. It's by eating less, eating cleaner. It's by exercising more or putting a little more effort into my steps or lifting heavier and trying to build muscle. Because one of the things I tell myself is if I am going to be eating a lot more, if I am actually going to be adding additional body fat, I might as well lift heavier and put more muscle on and take advantage of it in that regard. And that's what I mean. So instead of saying, oh, I ate 8,000 calories. What's the point of doing anything? I'm just going to walk away from this. No, instead, it's like, no, I want to be here. I want to show up. I want to make sure I'm doing what I need to do. So I'll go lift. I'll go push heavy. I'll take advantage of saying, hey, try to put on some muscle if you're going to be eating this way anyway. And that's kind of how I approach it because the day hasn't gone to waste. It's just another opportunity for me to learn and grow and continue on my journey. Step count for the month of February. My goal is to just average anywhere around 12,000 steps a day on average. It doesn't mean that every day is going to be 12,000 steps. You'll see here. and I should have highlighted the other ones in yellow, but that's okay. I'll do it for next time. I'm currently averaging 12,800 steps a day. On the 14th of February, I was walking everywhere. I was running errands, I was doing a ton. And on the 14th of February, I had over 21,000 steps a day. Does that mean that eating 8,000 calories will offset that because I walked 21,000 steps? Of course not. I could probably even walk 35,000 steps and the 8,000 calories would still put me over. It is true when they say you can't outrun a diet. And maybe you could. Maybe if you were running a marathon and then you decided to eat 8,000 calories, then sure. But people aren't doing that on a regular basis. It is a lot easier to keep the weight off by keeping the calories low or by practicing a longer fast. Sleep has been one of the hardest things for me. It is still between the way I control my calories and sleep. These are the two things that I need to continue working on. I've been saying this forever. But for the first half of February, my sleep has been nowhere good. You see no green in here at all. It's just a bunch of yellows and oranges and a few reds there. My average sleep time for the month of February is around 5.5 hours. I know that maybe some of you might be thinking, isn't this a fasting channel? Shouldn't we just be talking about fasting? And then the reality of it is no, like, yes, of course, it's a fasting channel. I'm going to talk about my fasts and what I do to continue fasting and how it's such a foundation of what I'm doing. But I need many of you who are here now to understand it is more than just that. And sleep and resting and recovery is such an important part of your journey. And as probably some of you don't even, either you don't know or you don't want to admit it, your sleep has a lot to do with the way your hunger is controlled as well. It plays a big role. Everything plays a big role. So it's one of the things that I know I have to be in check with on a regular basis. I think the only other slide I have here is the 80-20 rule that I talk about pretty often. The 80-20 rule means 80% of the time you should be doing what you need to be doing. 80% of the time you should be either working on your fast. 80% of the time you should be keeping your calories in check, getting your steps in, working out. That's the 80-20 rule. 80% of the time you need to be in the game. You need to do what you should be doing. The other 20% of the time is when you're on vacation. The other 20% of the time is when you are going out with friends. The other 20% of the time is if you want to have a lazy day and just want to do absolutely nothing for the day and just lounge out. But I say this because it's only 20% of the time. In a lot of ways, this is what imperfect consistency is. It is going hard when you can, pushing hard when you can, but also giving yourself grace, giving yourself the opportunity to enjoy a day out. If you look at 28 days for the month of February, which is exactly 4 weeks, 20% of that time means that for only 5.5 of those days, you should have 20% days. I'm already over that time. I am not currently practicing 80-20. I'm currently at a 60-40 split, which I know should be a lot better, but it is what it is. Just because I'm not at 80-20, just because I'm over, doesn't mean that I give up. I know I can still put effort in what I'm doing. Before I can continue, L just gifted 5 memberships to the Finally Fasting fam. L, thank you so much for your continued support. I appreciate you so much. I appreciate you helping others out as well. If you just received a membership on YouTube, you should be able to use this custom emoji. I know there are people here in chat. Can we throw some F's up for L for gifting memberships? It's such a kind thing to do. If you are now a part of the Finally Fasting fam, you can use custom emoji. You'll have a different color next to your name. Your name will be put on the intros of these live streams, if I can remember to get them up there. But L, thank you so much for gifting memberships to others out there on YouTube. So I appreciate the support as always. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. So those are pretty much the stats for the day. I know this is a shorter stream. This is kind of what I intended today. I didn't have anything specific that I wanted to talk about, but I want to take some time and talk to people here in chat. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. If any of you have any questions, please feel free to share. If anything you want to share in general, share it here in chat, because this is where I take some time, talk to other people, give whatever advice I can, or just share people's ups and downs throughout their journey. Kevin says, "Hi, fasting fam. I'm back home from helping my father recover from surgery. Hopefully everything went okay, Kevin. I had planned to do rolling 72s. My plan was not successful. I'm up 7 pounds after the 2 weeks." So are you up 7 pounds while successfully doing 72s? I mean, I'm asking just to get an idea of if the 72s are working for you or not. If you were doing 72s successfully and you're up in weight, then to me, right, it sounds like the volume or the calories you're eating is the issue here. What I've learned is I'm not ready to move into eating more than once a week. The cravings after breaking are too much to handle one right after the other. And so when you say that, are you saying you have a hard time getting back into another fast, or is it just the amount that you're eating and it's just hard to control when you break? Either way, I appreciate you being honest, Kevin. I appreciate you sharing with us. Continue to keep us posted. It's nice to hear from you. It's nice to see you. I'm hoping everything is okay from the surgery. So keep us posted. Thanks again for coming by and sharing with us. Eric says, 86 kg this morning, up nearly 2 kg, but currently 16 hours into a 3-day clean fast that will transition to sardine/mackerel fast for the last 2 days of the week. I love to hear it, Eric. Thank you for sharing with us. Eric, again, has shared in the past that Eric is in more of a maintenance mode, has already lost the weight and is just keeping the weight in check. But you'll see, just because Eric's in maintenance doesn't mean that he's not going to fast every now and then, isn't going to eat a particular way every now and then. So, and if you see the way Eric is saying this, he's going to do 3 days of clean eating or 3 days of fasting, just a clean fast. And then the next 2 days, eating sardines, eating mackerel, just keeping things very strict in that regard. And does that mean that you have to eat this way? No, it doesn't. Eric has a very specific way of how he fasts, how he refeeds, how he does different things like PSMF, which is a protein sparing modified fast, which means that you will be fasting from other foods, but will be only incorporating a small amount instead. Again, this is a different way. You don't have to fast the way everyone else does. You don't have to eat the way everyone else does. Just like when people watch me and they've seen me fast for 90 hours, and then they say to themselves, well, do I have to fast for 90 hours? No, you don't. And then they'll watch me eat 5, 6, 7,000 calories. You already know you don't have to eat the same way. You have to figure out what works for you. If a 30-hour fast works, if eating every other day works, if eating every 2 days works, if eating a certain way is helpful, then do that. You already know what it takes when it comes to eating. You don't have to have a nutrition degree or whatever to know that eating fruits, vegetables, and meats is a lot healthier than eating donuts, pizza, and something ultra processed. That isn't rocket science. We know, for the most part, we have common sense to know what is good. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. It doesn't have to be the worst kind of food or the healthiest either. It's a lot of something in between. Coterie says, where have you been? Coterie, I have been here forever. I know I haven't been posting on Instagram as often. I live stream regularly on YouTube, but now that I figured out how to live stream on Instagram, you'll be seeing me at least a lot more on live. until I start putting out videos again in the future. Thank you though for asking. It's nice to have you drop by here in the live. Um, Let me scroll down here, see what other people are sharing. Soaring Soul says, I feel powerful when I'm on day 2 or 3 or 4 of a fast, but it's so hard to get past day 1. And Soaring Soul, I know, and you know this, you're not the only one. This is a very difficult thing for many of us. It's one of the things I hear the most is, Jerome, I used to fast for this long and I can't do it anymore. Or Jerome, usually when I fast for a long time, that's the easy part. It's when I refeed and I get right back in it. And sometimes when I see this, sometimes I like to think that, you know, it could be one of two things. Yes, it is definitely hard to get back into a longer fast after you have refed because we're so accustomed to just eating the next day. And I know that takes time to get better at. At the same time, sometimes I like to tell people, well, maybe you're burnt out. Maybe what it means is you're not ready to just roll into another long fast. Maybe what it means is after fasting for a long period of time, it's learning how to fast for a shorter amount of time and start eating better. That is always the thing that I think many of us don't want to accept is if you're not going to fast that long, you eventually have to learn how to eat properly. You have to learn to limit your calories. It's a hard truth. It's a hard truth for me because even as I ate 8,400 calories on my last refeed, I told myself I could fast today and eat tomorrow and I will level myself out, or I could try to eat today and keep the calories low. I haven't made that decision just yet. I don't know where I'm at when it comes to that. So I'm in the same boat in that way. Sorry, so I was also just going to add, I appreciate you in the comments because I see you in the comments. I see you sharing all of your details. And that accountability is really important. I hope that's helpful for you. So I appreciate you sharing your continued journey. Don't think I don't see it. Just like anyone in here in chat, don't think I don't see your comments. Don't think I don't see the chat because I do. I keep up with all of you because I know it's helpful for me as well. So thank you for sharing with us, Soaring Soul. Lori says, after doing a few rolling 68s, now I'm back on my beloved ADF. I love to hear it, Lori. And again, this is another practice of imperfect consistency. This is another practice of flexibly fasting in this way because Lori usually uses ADF to keep her weight in check, but also realizes that if the weight is pushing itself up, then it's time to maybe push a longer fast every now and then. So congrats to you, Lori. It's nice to have you back doing ADF. Thank you for sharing with all of us. Judy says, hello all. Just popping in to say hi. We'll watch the replay as I have to watch the grandkids. No problem, Judy. Thanks for stopping by. It's nice to have you here as always. Let me scroll down here and see if I'm missing anyone else. Hi, Grammar Doc. Nice to see you. I know I haven't been able to say hi to everyone in here, but it's nice to have you all here. Luke, I see your question. I'll answer that after this. Happy Bunny says, hi, hope everyone's doing well. I feel like I've been giving up. I'm feeling a bit burnt out now. Not sure how to get out of this spiral with the food. Still doing good with my dance class and swimming. So, Happy Bunny, thank you for sharing the good with the bad. When you say you're feeling burnt out, what are you feeling burnt out on? Are you feeling burnt out on fasting, or are you feeling burnt out on the way you're eating? Do you feel like or are you feeling burnt out on working out? Because again, the way you should probably be looking at this is, for example, if you feel burnt out on fasting, then it's time to take a break. It doesn't mean that you don't have to hit a timer. It doesn't mean that you still can't clock how long you're fasting for. But if you're only fasting for 16 hours, even if it's 14 hours, so be it. Or are you feeling burnt out because you think you're eating too clean? Is it because when you say that you are spiraling with the food, is it because on the days that you are trying to eat clean, you're trying to eat too clean? Do you have, when you're eating clean, the question is, are you eating foods that you actually enjoy? Or are you forcing yourself to eat foods you don't want to eat? Again, a big important part about this is you need to do something that can be long term and sustainable. Yes, many times we have to put ourselves in an uncomfortable situation. Yes, many times we have to do things that we don't want to do. It's not like I want to fast every single day. There are some days where I'm like, I ate so much. Today's just a good day to rest and not eat anything. But I know it's not something I want to do all the time, but it's something that I do because I know based on the way I eat, I have to put some control in it. There are many days I don't want to go for a walk. There are many days I don't want to lift weights at the gym, but I tell myself, okay, just do it, but it doesn't have to be all out. I can still go get some steps in, but I do not have to put 100% effort all the time. So I know it's a hard part. I know it's not easy to just do this day in and day out, but there's a reason that I'm talking to you here 834 days in. Is it 834? Is that what I said? However many days that I'm in. Or is it 842, 834? Either way, I know a lot of this is just, it's a boring, mundane process of putting in effort every single day. And that's why I like to tell people find something that works for you, find things that are enjoyable. I know you know all of this, but I also know that maybe you're just at a place right now where it's just hard. And if that's the case, that's fine too. So keep us posted, Happy Bunny. I appreciate you sharing. Luke says, what does your workout routine look like when you do 24 to 72-hour fasts? Luke, so what my routine looks like is, for me, for example, let's say I'm doing a 42-hour fast. On the day that I'm fasting, on the day I am doing nothing but fasting, it's usually just my walking day. It's the only day I put my steps in. But on days where I eat, on days where I'm eating calories, immediately after my refeed, not immediately, but the day after, however you want to look at it. What I'm trying to say is, on my longer fasts, I just perform cardio. On the days where I eat, I will then strength train. So let's say, for example, I eat at 7 p.m. and at 7 p.m. I eat 5,000 calories for the day. I go to bed at, let's say, 11. I wake up in the morning. First thing I do when I get up in the morning is I weigh myself, I get right to the gym, I lift weights because I'm taking advantage of the calories I've eaten. Now, this could be different for other people. If you eat at 12 p.m. and you have a big lunch or whatever, then maybe later in the evening, that's when you should be going to lift weights, perform strength training. When it comes to my workout routine, there is not much difference in terms of what I do. I'm usually walking, or I'll get on a treadmill, I'll do incline. I don't, when I was living in Chicago, I jump on my bike. I take a lot of public transportation, so I'm going up a lot of steps. And then the only time I put a lot more effort into what I'm doing is after I eat, when I go to the gym, when I lift weights. That's where I put a lot of focus in what I'm doing. So hopefully that's helpful, Luke. Maybe you can keep me posted on what your routine looks like. Yako asks, how can I fast for 21 days? I went 4 days and quit. How do I stay consistent? So, Yako, the first thing is, if you want to fast for 21 days, I'm not here to say that you can't or that you shouldn't. But what I'm telling you is, if you went for 4 days and then you quit, what does quitting look like? Because what you should be doing is, if you plan to fast for 21 days and you went 4 days in, that's great. 4 days is already a huge accomplishment. What really matters then is what happened after the 4 days. After 4 days and after you broke your fast, did you get right back into another fast? Or did you say, well, this didn't work, so now I'm going to eat the next day, and then I'm going to eat the next day again, and then you stopped hitting a timer? What I'm telling you is, it doesn't mean after 4 days and after eating, you need to push another 21-day fast. All it means is you just hit your timer and you keep going. You just keep doing. If you want to push a 21-day fast, that is a very long fast. Let's not get that twisted in any way. A 21-day fast is not easy for many people. It isn't something that people just wake up and say, I'm going to do this. But what I'm telling you is, if you really want to do a 21-day fast, if you really want to push yourself that long and you haven't done anything like that before, that's going to take time. But in the meantime, before a 21-day fast happens, Why can't you do another 4-day fast, another 2-day fast? Why can't you put some good, clean eating into what you're doing? Are you exercising? Are you taking care of yourself? Are you doing other things outside of fasting? Or is your head just telling you fast, 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 fast? Don't worry about anything else. Because if that is your mindset, that part of your mindset has to change. Hopefully that's helpful. Yeah, keep me posted. Paul says here, I'm enjoying 36 to 40-hour fast on Monday and Thursdays. I do not ruin my progress with eating on Friday through Sunday. I don't know if you're asking a question, but I appreciate you sharing that. It looks like you're doing something very similar to me. I practice anywhere between 36 and 42-hour fasts. I eat every other day. I fast every other day. And then on the days where I eat or after I eat, that's when I go hard at the gym. The other days, those are my easier days where I'm just getting my walking in. That's it. Dawn says, I gain back on eating days. It's driving me crazy. So, okay, Dawn, I don't know how much of my content you've watched, but all of us gain weight after we fast. I'm guessing you know this, but if this makes you feel better, after I fast, let's say I fast for 40 hours, let's say I fast for 90 hours. Usually when I eat, I will gain anywhere between 4 to 6 pounds. Now, does that mean I gain 4 to 6 pounds of fat? No, it doesn't. Because I have shown time and time again, even if I gain 4, 5, 6 pounds after I eat, as long as I put myself back on another 36-hour fast or 40-hour fast, I will continue to lose the 4, 5, 6 pounds and even more, depending on how I eat. So don't worry about that. A lot of that is water weight. You are not putting 4 to 6 pounds of fat. I just want you to remember that. A lot of this just takes practice and takes mindfulness into the way you're eating as well. Now, if your eating is out of control, if you know you're eating way more than you're fasting for, well, that's on you, right? I mean, let's just be honest about it. That means that you have to learn how to either fast for longer or how to control the way you eat or how to eat better. And if you're saying to yourself, well, I don't know how to do that, I like to tell people this is where accountability can become important. This might mean showing up to these lives. This might mean sharing your journey with other people, having an accountability partner, something like that. So something to just think about on your journey. Thank you for sharing with us, though. So let me go ahead and see what other people have to say here on YouTube. And I see many of you here in chat just helping each other out, talking to each other, which I'm very appreciative of. So thank you for doing that. Wanji, nice to see you. Says, hello, fam. Only 5 kilograms to go. And I get to maintenance weight. My plan this week is rolling 48s. Wanji, I love to hear it. Congratulations to you. Congrats to you. Only 5 kg to go. Can you share with us what your journey has been like? I know you've posted here before, but maybe just to let other people know what your original weight was at and where you're at now and what you've been doing. I mean, you're talking about doing rolling 48s right now. I'd love to hear it, but it looks like you don't have much longer to go. And remember, and this is for anybody in here, just because Wanji gets to their goal weight, just because I've gotten to my goal weight, just like many people have gotten to their goal weight, remember, the journey doesn't end. All it means then is now you're in a different place where it's like, okay, how can I keep this weight off? How can I maintain this weight? Hey, I'm going on vacation for a week. How can I make sure that when I go on a week vacation, things don't spiral out? This is the challenge. This is why the journey never ends. It's a continued process, day in and day out. I did. Andre with a $10 super chat. Andre, thank you so much for the support as always. Andre, it's always so nice to see you. Andre with the $10 super chat says, J-Man, I'm loving how the Finally Fasting fam members are so helpful with each other, from motivating words to gifts like L, very motivating. I am very thankful for the community. It means so much to me for you to all be here, for many of you to share your stories, for people to share not only the good, but to even share their struggles. I know it's not easy for many of you, and I give so much respect to many of you who are vulnerable in that way. I appreciate that because I know it's not easy for many of you. Also, how are you enjoying your new digs? I miss the old apartment. Okay, so First of all, Andre, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. I appreciate that. Thank you for your continued support as always. So, to answer your question, and for people who might be new on Instagram who are watching me, yes, I have new digs because I am here in Manila. I have moved out of the States and I'm living here in the Philippines. But just for all of you who see all of this right now, right? And I apologize for the messy bed, but for all of you who see this background right now, I'll just give you some news that you will not be seeing this background for long. Um, I will be moving again, not out of the Philippines. I will be moving into a new place. So just FYI, that will probably be happening in the next couple weeks. Um, I'm excited for that because I'm going to be living in a. Now that I've been here for 3 months, it's given me some time to see where I really want to be. And I'm excited for that. So anyway, just FYI, I'm enjoying the new digs. I like it here, but I'm ready to check a different part out now that I know where I want to be living at. Um, Constantly asking questions asks on Instagram, did you ever figure out the right vitamin combo while fasting? So I'll say this, I don't take vitamins. I don't take supplements outside of creatine. I take 5 grams of creatine monohydrate every day. But other than that, I don't take any vitamins. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't. I'm just saying when I eat, when I refeed, I eat foods that are very nutrient dense. I do eat a lot of I was gonna say veggies. I do eat a lot of veggies. I eat a lot of vegetables. I eat a lot of greens. I eat a lot cleaner. So I focus on foods that are high in sodium, potassium, and magnesium. I focus on foods that are high in electrolytes, but I don't take any specific vitamins. When I get my blood work done, my blood work is optimal. I don't have any deficiencies. My testosterone is in check. I don't have type 2 diabetes anymore, or at least it's in remission. I don't have high blood pressure. So as long as those numbers are clean, I am not taking anything additional. I am not taking anything that will get me out of my. I guess what I'm saying is, as long as my numbers are good, I'm not looking into taking anything extra. The only reason I take creatine monohydrate is for my workouts. And that's something, creatine is something that's natural in your body. It's processed naturally. I just take that as a supplement. Otherwise, completely natural with what I'm doing, right? Like, and I say this many times on my live streams. I've lost this weight and I've kept it off naturally. I'm not on medication. I've never been on GLP-1. I'm not doing Ozempic or Wegovy like sometimes people will assume that I do. I'm not on TRT or HRT. I'm not on testosterone replacement therapy or hormone replacement therapy. I've never had weight loss surgery. And I'm 45, right? So I'm a middle-aged man who has continued to keep the weight off for this long naturally in that regard. Just looking at Instagram comments here. Why did you leave the States? Good asks. So I left the States for many reasons, but I'm also Filipino. I'm also a dual citizen, and I have never lived outside of the country. And I have some family here, and it was a great way to reconnect. I'm also trying to learn how to speak Tagalog. That is one of my big goals, is to be fluent in Tagalog and get that language down. I've also been learning Japanese. Language learning has become big for me, but I've really enjoyed traveling out of the country. Traveling has been really exciting for me. So one of many reasons. And so I'm here indefinitely. Sometimes people are like, when are you coming back? Because the States will always be my home. Chicago will always be home to me, but this is also home to me as well. So right now, everything is kind of up in the air. So I appreciate the question though. Okay, I think I'm good there. Let me see here. Thanks for sharing, Kevin. You were talking about but I'm glad surgery went well, Kevin. Wanji asks, Jerome, what is your take on fasting for a chubby child? If the hand of time was to turn and Jerome is 8 years old and overweight, would you appreciate it would you appreciate it if your parents helped you fast? So this is a very loaded question. And before I answer this, I'm also going to remind all of you here that I am not a doctor, right? I am not here to give medical advice. I'm not here to say you should do this, right? Everything is based off of my experience. But when you ask something like, what is my take on a chubby child, right? And just so people understand, I have been a chubby child as well, right? So we'll just share this photo here so you understand. Even for me as a kid, I have been overweight my entire life, right? As a kid, as an adolescent, as a teenager, as an adult, as a middle-aged man. But here's my take on this: is when it comes to fasting for a child, I would advise against it. If I could turn back time and if I knew what I knew as a child, and even if I, maybe speaking as a parent, the way I would look at it is I remember growing up as a kid and I pretty much just ate shitty all the time because I was picky as a kid. I didn't like to eat certain foods. All I wanted to do was just eat meat and rice and snacks and fast food. And really the advice here is what I would say is what needs to change isn't the fasting part per se. I'm not saying that, like, you know, having a 12-hour fast isn't beneficial, because if a child is sleeping for 8 hours, which they should be, if they're sleeping for 8 hours or longer, right, after 10 or 11 hours, that's where breakfast can come in, or that's where they can break a fast. But really what it means is it shouldn't be a bowl of sugar cereal, right? And I'm not saying that it can't be. I'm just saying that if I knew what I knew back then as a kid, I would have learned how to eat better. I would have learned how to eat cleaner. I would have learned how to be active more, because a lot of my childhood days was just sitting around playing video games. So fasting, I wouldn't even think of it like that, because fasting is an uncomfortable place to be in. I'm not saying that, like, as an adult, I think it's a lot different. As a child, I don't think children can even understand what's happening. Like, why would you do this to me, right? Instead, I think it would mean like having healthier options, healthier, having healthier options that they can partake in during their childhood. So that's probably the best way that I can put that. And it looks like my stream cut out on me on Instagram. So give me 1 second here. I don't know why that happened. I have no idea why that happened, and I have no idea how to fix that. I don't know if I'm going to be able to. So give me 1 second here, chat. It said I got disconnected. So let me see if I can reconnect. Sorry, everyone. I have no idea how to fix this. If I can't fix it, then it's okay. But try to do that now. Sorry, guys. Oh, so I can't even. That's okay. It looks like I'll have to fix that later. It was a good way to practice and see how it worked for them. So thank you, though, for people on Instagram who are watching me. Sorry that the chat broke up that way. So until next time, people. Somebody did ask here. People are struggling. I see. It's okay. Thank you, people from Instagram, for okay, I'm still live, right? Okay. I had to change things up. My head is out of the, because I'm like looking at this, I'm like, what am I supposed to do here? Okay, I think we're good. Wanji, does that help? Is that helpful? As a child, would I appreciated it if my parents helped me fast, no, I probably would have been confused. I would have not understood why I was being, I think, again, this is my own thoughts or my own opinions on it, but I honestly think, you know, um, it probably would have been more helpful just to like learn how to eat better, have better choices. I mean, it probably would have helped my journey growing up as a teenager as well. So hopefully that's helpful in that regard. Crawl, am I saying that right? Crawl just says, I just finished a 108-hour fast, refeeding today. MCT and eggs this morning, some beef, chicken, and broccoli for dinner tonight. Crawl, congratulations on your 108 hour. How did it feel? Um, it sounds like it's going to be a clean refeed. And then what's next? What are you doing after? I can't remember if you posted here before, but why don't you share your journey with us or share your journey with others if you'd like. So thank you for sharing. Appreciate you being here. Let me scroll down here. Roger says, hi, Jerome. Awesome fasters in here. I need some advice on 36 or 48-hour water. How frequent should we do it? Weekly? Roger, this is entirely up to you. So my advice to you is you could try it weekly. See how that's working out for you. I mean, if you want to do them rolling, meaning that you do one 36-hour and then you eat and then you roll right back into another 36, eat, roll right back into another 36, you can do that as well. If you just want to do a 36 or a 48 once a week and then do OMAD every day after, you can do that as well. The important thing here is to be flexible with it. Remember, not everything has to be in stone, in concrete. It doesn't have to be this perfect way of fasting. What it might mean, though, is if you do a 36-hour, the question is, what are you going to do after? Are they going to be OMAD? Are they going to be 16? And if they are going to be shorter fasts, what does the diet look like? How clean are you going to be eating? Are you going to make sure that you limit your calories so you don't overeat day in and day out before you get back onto another longer fast? So hopefully that's helpful. I think one of the things that for anyone who's in here, for anyone looking for advice, when you ask, my answer almost always will be, try it, see how it works. If you can't do it, you break early, you refeed, and you go again. And don't be ashamed. Don't be feeling guilty that you didn't do this or that. This is just an opportunity to learn. It's an opportunity to try different things. And that's why I think it's really important that you remember that you shouldn't focus on just one specific thing. You should be open to trying different things, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't. And that's how many of us find our journey. That's why my journey looks so different today than it did 2+ years ago, because it wasn't just fasting for 4 days, because that was my focus back then. It was just very solely focused on fasting. My mindset wasn't even in the right place. A lot of things have changed. My diet's evolved over time. My exercise has evolved over time. So hopefully that's helpful. Alva says, about the fasting fatigue topic, and in light of my week plus long binge, I'm beginning an egg sardine fast tomorrow for 5 days. It's not water fasting, but it's better than my current trajectory. And so there's a lot to kind of unpack here as well. So, right, Alvin, like, I'm so sorry about the week plus long binge. And, for you to start this tomorrow, doing eggs and sardines or a mix or what have you, right? Like, my only feedback when it comes to this is if you're able to do it for 5 days, that's wonderful. I love that for you, right? But just remember, even if it's not 5 days, know what a backup plan is. And whether that backup plan is just keeping food clean, keeping your calories in check, making sure that you are still doing other things outside of just fasting and eating. Like, I guess I'm just saying, have your other pieces in play. Make sure that you know what to do if you can't eat this way for 5 days, or you can't fast that long for 5 days. What are your other pieces going to look like? So just So you have that in check. And if you need that accountability, that's what we're here for. So continue to keep us posted. Thank you for sharing, Alvin. Um, hey, Chill, how's it going? Nice to see you. Peace to all. Nice to see you. I can't remember if I said hi. Peace to all says, I'm off antibiotics, but haven't resumed fasting yet. I've actually lost 5 pounds though with calorie restriction and eating healthy foods to restock my gut biome. And so I want to point this out, and peace to all, congrats to you. I really want to point this out because I remember when Peace to All shared that they had to be on antibiotics and they couldn't fast for a long time. That was a bit disheartening. That was a bit frustrating, right? Because Peace to All couldn't fast for that extended period of time. But just because Peace to All then had to eat more regularly didn't mean that they were just going to eat whatever. You know what? When I'm off the antibiotics, then I'll start. When I'm off the antibiotics, then I'll start taking care of myself. No, instead, Peace to All took the opportunity to say, well, I get to eat every other day or I get to eat every day, but let me try to do something, at least something, which is calorie restriction, which is eating cleaner. And Peace to All's down 5 pounds. So instead of being on antibiotics for a week or 10 days or however long, and then eating whatever and gaining weight and then blaming it on the antibiotics, there's no putting blame on the antibiotics. Instead, it's no, yeah, I know I'm going to eat every day, but I can still do something. And now this is good practice because in the future, if something like this were to happen or Peace to All maybe felt burnt out from doing a long fast in the future, it's like, well, I know how to eat regularly. I know how to keep the calories down. I can still practice that. So again, it's so important to be in the game on a regular basis. Know what you're doing on a regular basis because that is how you will find success. Okay. I see. Crawl. Thanks for sharing. Normally 2 24-hour fasts a week, 108 once a month, doing keto less than 20 carbs a day. But my downfall at the moment is I don't exercise. And, I don't even want to call it your downfall because right now it looks like you have a lot that you're doing. You're working on fasting, you're working on the way you eat, right? Exercise is a supplementary thing. So if that just means, even if it's a 5-minute walk up and down the street, and that's what I like to tell people, that's all that matters, right? Just getting yourself into a routine. If it just means walking around your apartment, I mean, I do that in my own place. When, let's say, for example, I'm only 10,000 steps in and I need another 2,000 steps, I'll just pace around here because why wouldn't you, right? I can do push ups, I can do core work. I don't need to go to a gym in that regard. I don't need to dedicate 1 full hour of going hard. All it means is I just show up where I need to. So thank you for sharing your story with us, Crawl. Crawl says, I just recently found your channel. I'm so happy to find you. I'm glad you're here. And I say this to anyone who shows up here. I hope to see you in the future. I hope you're here when I live stream again on Tuesday night or on Thursday night. So with that being said, those are my nerd stats. It's time for Fit Check. If any of you are unaware of what Fit Check is when I stand back here and I show you what I look like physically. Now, why do I do that? Because it's another layer of accountability for me. It's another layer of transparency. It's another layer of saying, or another way of saying, hey, I don't care if I'm down in weight or up in weight. I need to be accountable. So that's why I do it. Before I do Fit Check, just again, a reminder, I have been overweight my entire life as a child, in my adolescent years, in my teenage years, in my 20s, in my 30s, and even in my 40s. I have not just been overweight, but I have been obese. I have been morbidly obese my entire life, And as I do Fit Check now, we'll just go ahead and share that even though that has been me my entire life, I have now lost that weight and I have kept it off for over 2 years. I initially lost that weight in a matter of less than 5 months, but the more impressive thing for me is that I have kept it off for over 2 years. And I have been doing that naturally. Like I said, I'm not on medication, no weight loss surgery. I'm not on any kind of testosterone replacement therapy or hormone replacement therapy, so on and so forth. You know the story. I have learned to keep the weight off for this long and lose it through good habits, through accountability, through using things like fasting as a tool. So I say this to many of you so you understand that I'm not saying you should be off your medication. I'm not saying that you shouldn't consider doing GLP-1 or Ozempic or anything like that. I'm just saying if you've never worked on your accountability, if you've never worked on good habits, this might be an opportunity to do so. Because it's a good thing to have, it's a good thing to do regardless. So we'll do fit check. I am currently wearing a very small shirt. Wearing light colored shirts are hard for me because it shows like loose skin, but you know, I also am not, I don't feel bad about it. It's just who I am. I mean, I think about my past. I've been obese, morbidly obese my entire life. Yeah, I'm not going to look like, I'm also 45 years old. I'm not going to look like a Greek god or like a super athlete, but I'm very happy with where I'm at. So I'm currently wearing an extra small shirt right now. This is probably one of the smallest shirts that I own. These shorts are boys shorts. I think these are size 12 to 14. Here is a front shot here. Here's a side shot. And I am a bit bloated. I am a bit up in weight. Um, but you know, it's not the worst in the world either. Back shot here, side shot, and you know, even though I hit my goal way back in March of 2024, I do wear whatchamacallit, compressed shirt. You can see here as I can grab, and this is probably a mix of skin and probably some excess body fat and some bloat. Um, what was I saying? I forgot what I was saying. Hi, Aisha. Aisha, do you share with us? Did I miss you? Hopefully, I didn't miss what you said. Um, but if I didn't, or if I did, let me know. I'll go look for the specific chat. Um, I guess what I'm just trying to say is I'm happy with where I'm at. Do I have more weight to lose? Yes. Do I want to be less than the 17.5% body fat that I showed on my DEXA scan? Yes. Even though I'm at a perfectly good body fat percentage, I would like to be less than 17.5%. But the plan is to continue working to get there. Yes, I do have loose skin. Like as I was grabbing at my tummy, I have loose skin on my skin. I see you, Aisha. I'll get to it. I have loose skin on my upper arms, on my lower belly, but I know people talk about loose skin and I don't want to have loose. Listen, I'm not worried about that. All I'm worried about right now is making sure that my type 2 diabetes is in check, that my high blood pressure is not high blood pressure, that I am in a happy and healthy part of my life. So um, that's it when it comes to fit check. Uh, I am going to scroll back up here because sorry I missed you, Aisha. Let me see. My PC is lagging too, or my Mac is lagging. I need to reset it. Where did this go? Aisha, I don't see your comment here. Aisha, I see you talking to others, but I don't see you sharing your stats with us or your journey. Oh, maybe it didn't come through. Well, I mean, if you want to share or if you want to and I would hate for you to retype, but if you'd like to, please feel free. So it's nice to have you here, though. So in the meantime, for any of you who are looking for additional help when it comes to fasting, weight loss, or accountability, you can go to finallyfasting.com. You can book a one-on-one session with me. We can go over a game plan and a strategy to help you get to where you need to be. Remember, this isn't rocket science. You know that fasting will help you lose weight. Fasting will help you lose excess body fat. You know that eating cleaner will help you lose weight. Eating cleaner will help you lose excess body fat, or at least limiting the calories, not just eating cleaner. You still have to keep the calories down in that regard. But I think the hard part for many of us is accountability. It is showing up. It is executing on a regular basis. So if that is something that you're looking for, if you're looking for an accountability partner or an accountability coach, you can go to finallyfasting.com. You can book a one-on-one session with me. We can talk face to face, just like this. My goal with anyone I talk to and work with is to get you to your goals. And I try to help in the best way that I can. So if that's something you're interested in, just take a look at the site. If any of you want to help or support me in an additional way, you can go to the link in the live stream. You can go to the link in the description of this live stream on YouTube for more info. People who are part of the Finally Fasting fam will get a little custom emoji next to their name. They'll get their name in a different color. You can use those custom emoji. You get your name on the intros of these live streams, and that's about it. So, like I said, I'll take any Q&A before we kind of sign off here. But Crawl asks, how do you base what you believe to be your ideal weight? By what doctors say or by how you feel? So, Crawl, for me, I have taken a look at the body like weight chart. It's also a little different for me because I'm short. I'm 5'3". I wear boys' clothes, and because I do that, I also have muscle on me. So I know that currently, if I was to weigh right now at 145, I think I would be at the tail end of normal weight, and then I would officially be overweight, I think, if I was past that. But I also know that the muscle I have on me probably skews that number. Because for me, what I'm looking at right now, it's not so much ideal weight, Crawl, it's more what my body fat percentage is on the DEXA scan. I actually pay more attention to that than a number on the scale. So before I got a DEXA scan, I believe my body fat percentage was probably somewhere around 40%, if not more. After 1 year and getting the weight down, the body fat percentage was at 20%. And then this past November, about 3 months ago, a little over 3 months at this point, it was 17.5%, which is acceptable body weight for me or for a male. Even 20% was still optimal or average, but I would like to lean out even more. I would like to, and that's my own challenge, right? That's just me wanting to see how much excess body fat can I really lose? How much muscle can I actually put on? So when I think about body weight, I'm guessing I probably can still afford to lose more body weight and get myself down to the 130s, but I'm not too hung up on that number. I'm just more concerned on making sure everything is optimal in that way. So it's not by what doctors say though. I'm not concerned about doctors saying you need to be at. First of all, I have a really good doctor in the States, and he's very respectful of what I do. And he told me, just as long as your numbers are good, he's like, you just keep doing what you're doing. But it's more based on what my body fat percentage is, and I guess how I feel as well, because that's important too. So thanks for the question, Crawl. Aisha says, I just mentioned I refed yesterday, only up 2 pounds. Currently at 180, love to hear it. And I'm rolling into a slightly shorter fast at 5 to 6 days. I'm still remaining patient and I'm in it to win it. Aisha, I'd love to hear it. Thank you for sharing with us. I am rooting for you as you maybe start doing some shorter fasts now and seeing how that or where that takes you and how that's going to, you know, uh, how that's going to, I guess, show on your progress. So just remember, we're here for you. So keep us posted on your journey and what you're doing and how things are. So again, thanks for sharing with us, Aisha. Son Smothered, hi, nice to see you. Appreciate you being here. But as I say that, that's about me wrapping it up at this point. So Aisha says, I'm still getting my steps indoors, drinking water, doing indoor exercises. I love it. I recently started physical therapy again and can't wait to get the green light to start the gym. That's awesome. I love that you are working on all your levers, Aisha. I love to hear it. Thank you for sharing with us. So, all right, everyone. That's it for me today. We're about an hour and a half in. I have a lot of work that I need to do today. But before I go, I want to give a very special thank you to Elle for gifting 5 memberships to the Finally Fasting fam. Oh, thank you for the continued support as always. It's nice to see you. It's nice to have you here. And to Andre for the $10 super chat. Thank you both for your additional support. Thank you all for helping in ways that, even if you don't have to, that you support me in that way. So thank you so much. To all my Finally Fasting fam members, thank you as well. And to Andre again with a $5 super sticker. Andre, thank you again for the continued support. I don't know what that sticker looks like just yet, but I will be taking a look at it after this chat or after this stream. So, Andre, thank you again for your continued support. So, all right, everyone, that is it for me. We will be doing this again on Tuesday. On Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. Central Time, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Will you be here? Will you show up? Will you show some accountability? Hopefully you will. If not, well, you know where to find me if you're struggling. So with that being said, thank you all so much for being here today. Enjoy your evening for people out there in the West. Hopefully you have a good start to your week. For those of you who are out here in the East, your week has already started. Hopefully you are doing what you need to do. Hopefully you're continuing to stay happy and healthy. I'm going to do my obligatory wave goodbye, and I will see you all on Tuesday. See you soon, everyone. Take care.